Say hello to the all-new 2023 GR Corolla. Now really quickly, I do want to give a big thank you to you guys for all the support on the review video of this car. To be honest, I had no idea what to expect, and surprisingly, you guys are super stoked on the GR Corolla, which makes me very excited to start modifying it because we do have a lot of plans for this car, and just gets me really excited. Again, my idea of buying this car, it's a brand new platform. You really don't see many of these, and I think it'll be really exciting for us to build it and some really awesome content for you guys, and it just makes me really happy that you guys feel the same way as well. This car is so freaking cool. Now, speaking of the review video, number one, I was very surprised at how many of you guys were stoked on this car, but also number two, I was very surprised at how many people actually have no idea what this car is. So I figured for today's video, we would give you guys a complete overview of our new 2023 GR Corolla, as well as my first initial impressions, because I had been driving the crap out of this car. So when we got it, the car had, I believe it was 9 or 13 miles, something like that. And currently it has about 350 miles on it now, and I left it really dirty because I've been driving the crap out of this car, which we'll get into. Rain, snow, dirt, everything, and it has been an absolute blast. So I figured today, let's give you guys a complete overview of this car, what the GR Corolla is, exterior, interior, engine, and my initial thoughts for having it for the weekend. It's been a ton of fun, so let's get into it. And actually, before we get into it, I wanted to remind you guys here that we are giving away a PS5 in honor of the brand new Legends collection that just dropped last Friday. Now, today is the very last day to enter in to win the PS5 if you want to get it. If you guys don't know, every $1 that you spend on the Legends site is one entry in to win the PS5, as well as if you're a VIP member, you guys get double entries. We just released our brand new Live Fast collection. It's on the site right now. It'll be the first link down in the description box below. So many of you guys know that I love gaming, and I wanted to bring that to you guys as well. So do me a favor, before we hop into it, go check out the Legends site, see all of the awesome stuff that we have on it. We just did a big restock as well as the new collection, so there's a lot of cool stuff on there. Now let's hop into the video. First off, I figured let's go ahead and start with the exterior. That's what everybody looks at, obviously. So I figured we get an initial overview of the exterior of the car. So like I said, 2023 GR Corolla, and we got it in white. White cars are superior. I love cars in white, and the Corolla looks fantastic. Now, I think they did an excellent job with the GR Corolla styling. I personally am a huge fan of the new hatch Corollas. I think they're like the CE is like the sport. Don't quote me on it, but like the new sport edition Corolla hatch, in my opinion, looked very good. So I was super stoked when I saw this, and they made it even more aggressive. I was fortunate enough to go to the test fitting session at SEMA Garage to see these in person. I was honestly super surprised. I said this in the video where we actually bought the car, but when I was at that test fitting session, Toyota actually personally told me that it was going to be extremely hard to get your hands on one of these cars, and especially if it was a circuit edition, and most definitely if it was a Morizo edition. When I learned that I had the opportunity to hop onto the Corolla, I just had to do it, and actually I'm very happy that I did because it's been such a fun little car. So with the exterior, you guys can see the front end is very aggressive. You have a massive front grille opening into a very little baby intercooler, because this thing does have a 3-cylinder, which we'll talk about shortly. But I do like the front fascia. It gives like this mean, aggressive, kind of like beefy look with the big vents on the side. And speaking of vents on the side, are these functional? Oh yeah, they do. They actually go straight into the wheel well. That's actually sick. So some functional plastic vents right here, but you guys can see the styling right here, just opening up to some wide, aggressive fenders up front. Actually, also, I really like the headlights. I don't know if you could call this a C light. It's actually very cool LED strip. Now, this is the Core Edition, so I unfortunately don't get the Circuit Edition vented hood, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of other aftermarket options that are probably going to look a little bit better than the Circuit Edition hood. Just has those two little baby vents right in the center. But what we did get is the Performance Package, which gives us the Circuit Edition differentials as well as the red GR brake calipers. Now, I don't know if the Performance Edition also gave us the two-piece rotors up front, or if that just comes stock, but I do know the red GR caliper is from the Performance Package. But either way, back to the styling, I absolutely love the OEM wheels. I do wish they were a little bit more aggressive, but for OEM, they look freaking awesome. And of course, paired with the two-piece rotors, it's a very good setup. And I will say, OEM pad selection does create a lot of brake dust, but the brakes are very good. So I'm not mad about it. I actually think that's really awesome. Moving to the side, we also have more functional vents, not just plastic vents that are for looks. They, oh, you can actually see right here, this is the slit for the front bumper vent right there, straight into the wheel well, and then you also have this releasing some air back out too. Very freaking cool. Now, I think everybody's favorite, or could be controversial, I guess, is the rear, because the rear is juicy. Or we have some aggressive, emphasis on aggressive, rear fenders. I mean, look at this. It is insane. This is definitely my personal favorite angle of the car. I love hatchbacks, and one thing that I've been doing is really comparing the GR Corolla to the Type R, which I'll probably make in a separate video for you guys. I don't want to compare it too much into this video since it is just a general walk around of the Corolla. But I think the rear of the car looks amazing. These wider fenders are surprisingly, it's like an add-on. I'm not sure if we can take them off and maybe somebody will make like an aftermarket piece, but it is just an add-on to the already existing car, which is pretty cool. I love what they did with it. It looks insane, especially from the rear. Look at this. It's beefy. It looks like, we explained this in the video when we bought the car, it looks like a juiced up bulldog. It is so freaking cool. Another thing that I did want to mention is that this car looks so much smaller in person. I don't think you guys can really get a feel of how compact the GR Corolla is in the video, but when you see it in person, you're like, damn, it's really scrunched, but that's what makes it cool. I feel like it's not this huge, beefy, big car. It's still a small little Corolla that packs a really big punch. It's really cool, actually. Which, by the way, this car sounds fantastic. I love the way this thing sounds, and I'm very excited for exhaust to come out for it. I do think it's gonna be a really great sounding car with the 3-cylinder, which is pretty cool. Also, speaking again of functional vents, got some dirt in there. We've got some bumper vents back here. So this just isn't like a huge pocket of air. They put some slits here to help release the air. That is one thing that I'm very excited for, is to track this car, which I haven't done yet, but like I keep saying, we'll get into that further in the video. One thing the rear definitely does need is a more aggressive wing for up here. I do think the aftermarket possibilities for this car is going to be insane, so I'm going to keep saying it, but I'm very excited to see what companies come out with. Front lips, rear wings, all of it. It's going to be really awesome. So that is just a generic overview of the exterior of the car. Nothing too crazy, I guess, besides the rear fenders, but in my personal opinion, I do think the car looks great, and you can kind of get like a cool little look of the GR Corolla right here and the Type R up there. I mean, if you ask my initial opinion right now, I would still take the Type R over the GR Corolla, but it's not to discount how freaking rad this car is. Now, one of the things that I do not like about this car, which I think is pretty typical amongst a lot of people and Toyotas, is the interior. Let's take a look. Now, I also got the weather package, which I believe just added these nice rubber floor mats, which actually have come in handy because this car's been in the snow and in the dirt already. So these are already coming in handy. But when you first look at the interior of the car, there is nothing special. I mean, aside from this GR badge on the headrest of the seat, it's pretty freaking basic, but this is the core edition, so you don't get the circuit edition interior, which are some really cool GR buckets with Alcantara bits all throughout the car, including the steering wheel, e-brake, and your shift boot, which personally I really love, but maybe we'll be able to secure those once the circuit editions start rolling out. But the interior is very basic. It kind of reminds me of when we had the GR86, which it's very just plasticky nothingness. I mean, very bare, no like contrasting stitching. It is a leather, does have a leather feel, but I mean, just very plasticky. The seats are very basic. They just feel like economy seats, nothing crazy. I do like the steering wheel. The steering wheel is nice. I don't like this big airbag. The buttons kind of feel meh, nothing special. There's a lot going on here. Other than the fact that it's very plain, the interior feels nice. It doesn't feel cheap, which is what I like. It's just bare minimum. But on the other hand, the reason why I think they did that is this car, without dealer markups and all of that nonsense. This car is meant to be a more affordable car. I believe MSRP for this car is around $36,000. Now, without the insane dealer markups, that's a reasonably affordable car in the STI and Evo ranges. I really feel like they put their budget into making a great engine as well as transmission, differential, all of that, because you do get the variable differential, which I think this is the coolest feature of the car. So let me start the car here. We've got a cool little GR startup sequence. I am not a fan of user interface on any of this. I don't like it. It took me so long to figure out how to get the tachometer, like the F1 style up top, like that. It took me a very long time to figure that out. And then we do have wireless Apple CarPlay, which is super nice. But back to what I was saying, the variable differential here. You have what they call GR4, which is your basic differential setup, which is going to be 60-40, which means 60% bias in the front and 40% in the rear. Then you can actually turn this knob to the right, putting it in rear bias mode, which then turns the differential to 30% in the front and 70% in the rear. And then you can actually press this button, put it in track mode, which then makes it 50-50. That is by far one of the coolest parts of the car, and I think we're gonna have a ton of fun with this thing once we can actually take this to the track. You also have your drive modes down here, which you can use this knob for, which you can put it in eco, normal, sport, or custom mode, and kind of customize your settings, which you can do in this menu right here. So you have powertrain, steering. I don't know what air condition has to do with your driver mode, but probably another question we're gonna get here is the interior big? It's big enough. The Type R is much bigger, has way more room. You definitely could not do what I do with the Type R and fit all your 4 wheels and tires in the back, plus all of your track supplies in the back. I'm sure you could make it squeeze, but it's definitely not as easy as the Type R. I can't say you can't do it because I haven't tried to do it, but the Type R is definitely way more roomy and way more practical, I guess. I've taken this thing to the grocery store. We actually have car parts back here. I mean, it fits what you need to fit. Tim can sit back there, barely, and Tim's like 6'5" or something like that, so it fits enough. The back seat and the trunk are definitely usable. Okay, so last but not least, let's take a look in the engine bay. If I can find, oh, there it is. Okay, look at this little guy. Wow, this is a super light hood, by the way. Oh, here are the headlights that I was talking to you guys about. See, they're pretty freaking cool. This is also pretty unique. The lever for the hood is actually on the hood itself. Let's put it there. There we go. So here we have the 3-cylinder, the 1.6 liter 3-cylinder turbo, which makes 300 horsepower and surprisingly is pretty peppy. Now, I believe that this is the same engine in the GR Yaris that they have in Japan, but again, don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure, and a lot of the things actually carry over to the Corolla. We actually have some modifications on the way, like quote-unquote modifications. There's nothing huge because there's nothing really out for this car yet, but I think a lot of the engine parts from the GR Yaris will be able to swap over to the GR Corolla, which I think is going to be really cool. Like I said, the car is really peppy. It's been a ton of fun to drive, and I really do think that this is going to be a great platform to build off of. So that being said, let's really quickly talk about my initial impressions. So I actually filmed a little bit when we first got home from the dealership. I actually filmed with my wife, Tiana. It was super fun. I'm gonna go ahead and overlay some clips of when I was filming with her, figure out how to rev the car, do a little ride along and stuff. It was a ton of fun. So we'll go check that out and then we'll actually hop into my initial impressions. I think it's
you can feel it.
Yeah, right? Go to the back for me.
Okay.
There we go. So sick. Okay, I didn't notice this. Look at this. So this is a really cool part. If you put the car in track mode, you can press the traction control off. It puts the car into expert mode. You probably can't see it, but it turns traction off. It turns your lane assist off, and it also turns your traction control off as well. So I guess that like puts it into like like this is your full track mode, and it lets you rev past 4K. So.
Oh, there you go.
Dang, that is
there you
sick.
go.
I'm just now figuring this out. That is fucking tight. That is cool. Let's get some. Control out of the box?
Look, now he's having fun. Uh-oh.
This thing's pretty tight. This thing's pretty cool. I kind of want to go out and launch it right now.
Oh, jeez.
It's got some pep, right?
It definitely does. It's really smooth. I like it.
The suspension is stiff on the stiffer side, which I really like too, because out of the box, I feel like this car's gonna be fast on the track.
It just like, I'm not gonna lie, I just wish it looked cooler.
I think it looks sick.
I don't know, maybe it's the white that's like,
Whoa,
I don't know.
Don't talk shit about white cars, come on.
I don't know.
I think it sounds really cool.
It sounds very nice.
It rips good enough, I think. Get some like good turbo noise too.
You do. If you're like a car enthusiast, it is the perfect, like if you're in college, if you like commute to work, it's just like the perfect daily if you're a car enthusiast. Because it's cheaper than the Type R. It's not as big too. So even though it's 100 pounds heavier, but I don't know, it's just like nice and compact. It's just like a good commuter car if you're a car enthusiast.
So, GR Corolla initial impressions. First off, I think this car is freaking awesome. I think the car is a ton of fun. I guess if you really think about it, a 1.6 liter 3-cylinder turbo that makes 300 horsepower, it's fast. But more when you pinpoint it down, the car doesn't like blow you away, but it is very quick, very peppy. We took the car on the canyon to go to the snow, and it was a ton of fun ripping up the canyon roads. Once again, like I said, I haven't been able to take the car to the track yet. That's something I'm really looking forward to doing, but I do believe the car is going to perform outstanding on the track, especially with the all-wheel drive system that it has. I'm really excited to try out all the different modes, whether it's 60/40, 50/50, or 30/70. I think this car is going to be an absolute blast. I'm very excited to put it into track expert mode and turns off everything. Your limiter, traction control, assists, everything is off, which I think is super cool. So hopefully the weather here clears up soon. We get a track day in and have a ton of fun with the car, because I do believe it has a lot of potential, and I'm super pumped to match it up to my Type R, which we are currently building for Global Time Attack right now. As far as aftermarket goes, I'm really excited to see what comes out for this car, especially performance-wise, but also exterior-wise. The car could definitely use a front lip, a wing, some sort of really awesome vented hood. I'm super stoked. A company like Varis or HKS, I'm really excited to see what they will produce for this car, and hopefully they end up doing it. It's such a new platform that there's absolutely nothing out for it yet, but I'm very excited to be on the forefront of that and be able to test things out for you guys. But with all of that being said, whether the car is in the rain, the dry, in the dirt, or in the snow, it has been a ton of fun through everything, and we've only been driving it for 350 miles. We have a very long road ahead of us with this car, but I'm super excited to hop into it, and it makes me so happy that you guys are excited for the build too. As far as my plans for the car, I don't know. Like I told you guys, I definitely did not expect to purchase this car. It was just kind of an opportunity that presented itself, and it really worked out. So I do want to make this car a very OEM plus daily style car, but you guys know me. I love to track my cars, and I know I'm going to beat the heck out of this car. So we'll see what happens as the car progresses and things come out for it. But currently, I just love driving it around. It's been a really fun daily car to go to and from the gym, to the grocery store, rip on the canyons. It is an awesome car, and I will say it feels very like rugged. The transmission, the gearbox feels fantastic. It feels very beefy. I don't feel bad like ripping it in the rain or through massive puddles or going through the snow and the dirt. Like the car can take it and it feels like it's supposed to do that. With all of that being said, if there's anything that you guys want to see with the car, let me know in the comments down below. What do you guys want to know about the car? What do you guys want to see with the car? What are you looking forward to? Let me know everything because I'm super pumped to make content for you guys. All right, some perfect finishing touches to make the GR Corolla officially ours. I'm freaking pumped. So with all of that being said, I hope you guys are ready for some freaking awesome GR Corolla content.